Why, hello, everyone. As always, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, just depending on when you're able to catch this live video. Thank you so much for the likes, the comments, the shares, and just the follow-up and the views. It really means the world to me. So today's quote is actually an anonymous quote, and it says, "Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle." You better get it while the getting's good. I'm sure you've heard that saying before. So today's topic is don't overstep your position. You know, this is a very tough subject to think about because there are many times when we want to do above and beyond. In actuality, we're overstepping our bounds and creating a lot more trouble for ourselves. And I have to say, the choices we make nearly always reflect our true character. Now, what do I mean by don't overstep your position? Well, so when I was in the military as an air transportation specialist, just giving you a brief story, the very first thing I was taught was how to load a plane and a passion from rear to forward, the back of the craft to the front. Okay? So that was how I would set up the systems in place. So from lightest to heaviest, or heaviest to lightest, just depending on the aircraft that I was working with. So you had to do calculations and figure everything out, but before that plane took off, you had to get it approved through a loadmaster. Now, what would happen on more occasions than one, when you start getting good at your job, you will start to overstep your position and push on that loadmaster who approves that load before he can take off the grace, if you will, that everything is fine and that they don't need to check anything. Well, as you can probably imagine, that's the wrong way to go about things, because a loadmaster has their position and their job. Just like as an air transportation specialist, my job was to be able to prepare the cargo and place it onto the plane. Theirs was to make sure that that plane could take off, that what I did was in line with what would make that plane take off and be able to land safely and successfully. So when I stepped outside of those bounds and just automatically started pushing, which I had a bad habit of being very persuasive, the loadmasters and saying, "Hey, you know what? You don't have to check my work. I'm good. I got this. No big deal." Taking control out of the people's hands that needs to be there can cause issues. I can tell you it did. Okay? So what I mean by stepping and overstepping your position is knowing who you are and knowing where your limits lie. Now, am I telling you to not push your limitations? No, that's how you grow. But know your position, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. John Maxwell says that he constantly lives in his strengths. He knows his weaknesses, but he grows his strengths, and for his weak areas, he has other people take care of those that are strong in those areas. So do you, and what you're good at, and what you need help with, get people who are good at that to help you. I think it was Dave Gamrell. I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he said, you know, he was trying to figure out whether or not it was cheaper for him to cut his own lawn or have someone cut it for him. Now, of course, the time it would take for him to cut his own lawn and trim it, and he could do all that, or he could pay somebody $50 to come in and do it all for him And that would be an hour to 2 hours that he would have to do other things that he's good at and what he's good at. Not overstepping his position. He works in his strengths and not to his weaknesses. Just an example. So that's what I mean by don't overstepping your position. Know what you're good at. Work in those areas. Develop those areas. Okay? I hope this video finds you well. I hope that you're blessed and that you're taking care of one another. I truly hope that these videos serve a purpose for you. If anything, maybe get a little humor out of it. But as I spend time doing the research, I want to contribute to you. And this is one way I'm able to do that. As always, I hope that you take care of one another, that you be well, that you be blessed, and of course,